Shalom, everyone. I hope you are doing as well as you can during these times. Yaakov Avinu, we know that he had perfect emunah. He even, some of the Midrashim tell us that he split the Yarden once with his emunah, whatever that means. But therefore, there's a strong question that begs to be asked on this week's Parsha. Why does the Torah tell us that Yaakov was afraid of Esav? Why would Yaakov, with such incredible emunah, be afraid of someone else? Obviously, we can't understand the ways or the emotions of the holy avos. We can't. Nevertheless, whenever the Torah is telling us a detail of their lives, the purpose of it is to learn lessons for ourselves. And therefore, we have to ask, for our own, at least for our own personal growth, what is the Torah trying to tell us? What is the Torah trying to teach us when it states that Yaakov was afraid? I think that the reason is to show us that every person has ups and downs. Our hearts are not always going to be at the same level. There are times when our emunah, our faith, shines brightly, and there are times when it's at a lower level, and that is okay. Not only is it okay, it's human, and we should show that to our children, because when we are transparent with our children in this way, it gives them the pass to also allow themselves to go through ups and downs, and to not always think that they have to be perfect. If a parent presents themselves as perfect all the time, a child can grow up thinking that they really need to be. And we all know that that's not realistic. It's not even healthy. I remember, when I was playing basketball with my son, and it used to be like, oh, like every on a small little hoop. Okay, so I'd hit the shot every single time, and then I realized that's presenting for my son that you always have to get it, and if you don't, then that's a total failure. So I actually started missing on purpose. But at the same time, it is essential that even when we're at that low moment, we have to remain with the correct perspective and the correct hashkafa, the correct outlook, that we know that even though we are feeling something, we know what we should be feeling in our hearts. Perhaps the emunah and the bitachon aren't shining with clarity as they had during maybe other times, maybe when we're a little more afraid. But our minds should know how we should ideally feel. There's a story once with Rav Avram Janikowski, who he accidentally dropped his watch and it stopped working. So he brought it to a watchmaker, and the repairman told him that all it really needed was a new battery. And he said, I don't understand. It's like an unusual coincidence that the battery should stop working at the very moment that the watch fell. It would seem more likely that the fall caused something to break. And the watchmaker explained that when the watch fell, it stopped working for a moment. The battery was weak, though, and therefore it didn't have enough power to keep the watch working to get it going again. So Rav Avram Janikowski, repeated this story to his students, and he explained that our emunah should be so strong that if for a moment we are falling, in those times when we are a little more afraid and we're not shining as brightly, then they should have enough emunah, enough strength to pick themselves up and continue with their emunah. This is the important message to give to our children, both that it is okay to have these ups and downs, and to make sure that even when we have a down, we should know how we should ideally feel, even if we are not yet there emotionally. Wishing you all an incredible Shabbos.